Speaking of shit happening, well, at the end of towards the end of your documentary, Wrestling with Shadows, we see the infamous scene of Bret Hart asking you to leave the locker room, and then allegedly he punched Vince McMahon in the face. Is that something that you had the chance to see, or you were out of the locker room at that moment?
Oh no, we were told to leave. And we had to leave. We had extraordinary access
Okay,
because it was Brett.
okay,
If it had been anybody else, what happened early on when we were first doing the film
yes,
and we were signing our contract with the what was then WWF.
yes, yeah,
Brett was the star. He and Vince were tight. There were no problems.
mm-hmm.
And the contract we got was that we agreed with only one thing. I agreed that I wouldn't show the behind the scenes theater
Mm-hmm.
because I figured it's like if I was doing a film about a magician,
Yeah, yeah,
I couldn't
wouldn't
show the
want
magic
to,
tricks.
yeah, you wouldn't want to
Right?
reveal the tricks. Yeah,
Yeah. But the deal was it was up to Brett what could go in or not. Only on that one issue, not on anything else. Brett had no
okay,
creative control of the film other than what could I show of the behind the scenes scripting and all that. Well, by the time we got into the film and things started to unfold,
mm-hmm.
he started to have his falling out with Vince.
Yes,
So there was a point where he was planning a match. And I said, can we put a mic on you and film from a distance your conversation planning the match? And he thought about it and he said, you know what? Fuck it, go ahead. It was getting to a point he just didn't care anymore. Plus, he knew that on this one issue,
yeah,
later on, he could ask me not to include it. So from that point on, he said, look, film whatever you want. I'll wear a mic anytime you want me to. And later, we'll figure out if there's any issues.
mm-hmm.
And as I say, the more we got into the filming, the more antagonistic his relationship with Vince got. So by the time we made the film, Brett didn't ask us to take any. We made 0 changes.
Mm-hmm.
Brett didn't ask for any, and we didn't make any.
Yeah,
So, like for example, when he goes in for that conversation with Vince in the film where they plan the match, Vince doesn't know that
he
Brett's mic'd.
that he has a wire. Okay,
Yeah. But because it's Brett, we were able to have access to the dressing room.
mm-hmm.
So at that key moment after the match in Montreal, and we're
Yeah,
in the dressing room, I knew that if I turned the camera towards anyone but Brett, it might trigger them to say, hey, you got to get this camera crew out of here. So that's why in the film you don't see anybody but Brett. You can hear Shawn
okay,
saying, I wasn't in on it, blah, 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 which
yeah,
he's lying through his teeth.
yeah,
But we were there. And then as Vince comes in, he knows that Vince is going to freak out if he sees the camera. So he tells us to leave. I have no doubt that they had their words, and Brent punched him in the face and he fell to the ground like a ton of bricks.
yeah,
And we heard from various people afterwards that's what happened. And then you see the shot of Vince staggering down the hallway
mm-hmm.
afterwards. And it's kind of funny because I know a guy who worked very closely with Vince, and I said, did he see the film? Now, Vince publicly claimed he'd never watched the film, which is all nonsense. Of course he did.
Yeah,
But this guy said, of course, Vince saw it. I said, what did he think? He said, oh, he was fine with all of it. He just didn't like one scene. And that's him staggering down the hallway because it made him look weak.
yeah.
He didn't want people see that he'd been punched. So, yeah, it was, as far as I know, it was a real punch.